Well, hello everyone. Thanks for joining us for this chat. I'm Dave from Climate Outreach. I run the Climate Engagement Lab, and this is a project of the Climate Engagement Lab, joined on this call by Dr. Angela Mae Minas from CAST. Say hello, Jella.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us.
And by Jess and Lizzie from Hubbub.
Hi.
Hi, everyone.
So I would love to hear, first of all, Jess and Lizzie, who are Hubbub? What are you set up to do, and what was the project that we worked together on?
Sure, so I can introduce Hubbub. So we're an environmental charity, and we're all about inspiring action that's good for the environment and for everyone. So a core bit of what we do is to bring people together around environmental action. So that might be businesses, other organisations, local authorities. So collaboration is very key to that. And we aim to make behaviour change easier and more possible to people, help people make those choices that are good for the environment. We try to spark like problem solving and help people to make easier environmental choices, whether that's making their leftovers tastier, making reuse easier, or secondhand the defaults. So it's all about everyday actions that people can take. We use lots of design and hope that through good design and communications, particularly positive communications, that we can showcase the benefits of taking environmental action. So that might be saving money, having fun. And we base all of our work on behavioural insights, so really digging into what an audience currently does, what their barriers or motivations might be, so that we can help develop messaging and activities that will help people change their behaviour. Lizzie, did you want to introduce Manchester?
Yeah, sure. So we're currently working in Manchester as part of the In Our Nature programme, which is a community-led climate action programme across the city in partnership with Manchester City Council, Manchester Climate Change Agency, and another number of other delivery partners. So as part of this programme, Hubbub deliver place-based community projects with the aim to reduce carbon emissions, the residents, but also help people learn new skills, save money, and improve their local area too. So as part of this programme, we wanted to support residents in Moston, an area in North Manchester, to eat more sustainably. And the aim of this project was to invite residents to join a Facebook group where they could learn different tips and gather resources, and also take part in challenges across 6 weeks to help them eat more sustainably, but also help them save money on their food bills, reduce their food waste, and learn new cooking skills. And Moston is an area of Manchester that is often overlooked and forgotten about in the climate conversation. And we wanted to learn more about Moston residents and identify what language and communications work and resonate with them to help inform our wider projects, but also ongoing work in this area.
Great stuff. So you talked a little bit there about maybe why Climate Outreach and CAST could help. So Climate Outreach and CAST were keen to work with an organisation that was trying to engage the audience segment known as loyal nationals, and to try to help those audiences to connect more meaningfully with behaviour change and with climate communications. So we put out a call and you answered it. So why did you think Climate Outreach and CAST could help?
So obviously both quite renowned organisations in the environmental space. So we're really keen to kind of work with you and collaborate on something. And we've done quite a bit before on sustainable diets and looking particularly at food waste. So we had recently undertaken a project called Manchester is Green, where we worked with football fans, took them through a 3-week series of tips and helped them to look at their diet and see where they could make that more sustainable. We found from that around 70% of them told us that they were eating less meat. So we knew that the approach we'd taken there had worked, but we didn't necessarily have the insight into exactly which kind of messages were most impactful or effective. And we were really intrigued to work to do more on sustainable diets, particularly meat reduction, given that we know that's so crucial in terms of carbon reduction and a really hard behaviour to shift and to change. We also wanted to try a new approach a bit in terms of that Manchester is Green project and approach. They're quite intensive projects to run and harder to scale for that reason. So we wanted to see if we could try doing that on a lighter touch model, and if we still had similar results, and try and work in a new area of Manchester with a slightly different audience as well. So yeah, really keen to dig into your kind of expertise and how we can do that to understand actually which of these messages do resonate to help people reduce meat intake and try more sustainable diets.
Great stuff. And tell us a bit, I mean, we know obviously, but what is it that Climate Outreach and Cast specifically did with you?
So I guess when we started the project, we had our initial view of what Moston residents are like based on demographic data and information, and also some learnings from our previous projects like Manchester's Green in the city. And what we did to begin with is gather those kind of current insights and knowledge and work together to develop a hypothesis that incorporated what both of our organizations wanted to learn and test together. So that hypothesis was the right messages designed in conversation with local people and delivered by trusted local stakeholders can increase sentiment that eating meat and dairy is desirable, easy, and socially acceptable. So that kind of underpinned all of our work together. We then wanted to learn more about Moston and help shape that project. And whilst Hubbub took the lead on community engagement in the wards, kind of identifying those trusted voices, we also wanted to learn more about kind of the topics and themes and values that they cared about. So to support this, Climate Outreach and Cast led a narrative workshop. So this is an in-person workshop in Moston with residents that we helped recruit. And this was really invaluable. And the results from this workshop, it kind of went through different narratives. We learned what people really liked, what people didn't like about different topics, and even framing around sustainable diets was really, really important. And using these learnings, we then shaped the content of the 6 weeks challenge that we had on Facebook. So we found, okay, we knew that health was a really big, important value that people had. So that kind of incorporated into the challenge. It also kind of Climate Outreach and Cast also helped us develop the measurement framework for the project. So helping us understand how we can measure what worked and what didn't work from a data perspective, but also with language and the narrative. And also help us develop the surveys and kind of baseline and support that. Jess, I don't know if you wanted to add anything to that.
No, we're good.
Amazing, thank you. Jill, over to you.
Going more into the details of what you learned, please could you share us what you've learned in this project or this partnership?
Yeah, happy to. Yeah, we've learnt so much. We've been able to look at those different hooks and what kind of resonates most with people. So yeah, those themes around family, particularly kind of home cooking, and food waste being hooks that people really seem to resonate with, as with potentially kind of nature and growing. And through the community conversations early on, that became apparent as something that that did resonate. So we made sure we made that a kind of key focus of the campaign. We found that people didn't really bring up meat reduction that much, or even talking about the kind of link with meat and climate. And it does seem to be a topic that people potentially avoid a bit. So I think we'd be interested to dig into that more in future and understand. We know that there's quite a kind of culture war topic there, with also that people maybe find hard talking to each other. And potentially we could even make the communications around that kind of more explicit. But I think we've learned that actually what's really important from this is trusted messengers, something that we already knew from other projects, but it really highlighted the value that people got from others sharing what they were doing, and not necessarily just local community organizations or local kind of topic experts, but really just kind of everyday people in the area sharing their favorite kind of recipe or what they really loved about the area, made it feel very authentic and credible. And that feels really valuable to the audience that we were working with, and something that I think every project needs to consider. I don't know if you want to add anything, Lizzie. We did find that there was quite a few like spillover behaviours as well. So actually quite a lot of people talked about reducing their food waste as a result of the project, which was yeah, potentially a sort of additional thing we did include, but as well as meat reduction, it's shows that people are potentially more willing to talk about other areas related to food, and the idea of wastage with this audience was something that people didn't necessarily, they'd resonated with and were quite happy to sort of take action on.
Great. Those are really interesting learnings. I wanted to find out, I guess you've mentioned that this is quite light touch, but what would success look like for this project?
For the future, yeah, it's a really good question. I think we will continue working in Manchester, and something that we'd quite hoped is that the local organisation would kind of continue some of the work or take it on. I think with it being lighter touch, some of the timings of it didn't give us, we would have liked to have longer to really kind of build rapport and establish some of those relationships with local organisations. Some of the timing just kind of didn't work out for them, but we'd love to kind of stay in touch and see how there's opportunities to share now that we know that there is appetite to kind of do more on food within Moston, and with this audience, that is there a kind of natural crossover with local organisations that could help continue some of this work. So I think for us it really highlights the value of that kind of community listening bit, which we had in terms of understanding nature being a hook, but to be able to really kind of build some of the stronger relationships with local organisations to help sustain this kind of work in the meantime. I mean, we know that people have changed their behaviour, and there's been some reduction in people eating meat and feeling the benefits of feeling more part of the community. So we know it's had a positive impact, but we'd love to look more at that kind of legacy piece.
Do you feel then that it could thrive, or there's potential for it to thrive without the support from Hubbub or Climate Outreach or CAS?
I think it potentially, it feels like that needs some more engagement with the group. We did see quite a lot of people sharing posts and things initially. I think it's a big challenge of taking this behaviour change work and having it something that it becomes naturally sustains itself. So we're really keen to keep exploring kind of models that can do that. But hopefully through the broader In Our Nature programme that lasts for 3 years, that we're able to keep connections with the community and kind of link up to other projects happening. So yeah, still a bit kind of TBC on that one, and one we hope to keep testing and refining.
Great, thanks. Lizzie, do you want to add anything before I turn over to Dave? Yeah.
Yeah, just on that, I guess, wider In Our Nature partnership, one of the wider aims that we had with this project is that we would connect the local community to share what they would like to improve about Moston, be it like improving their local green spaces. And that was a really big theme that came across the Facebook group. People are really proud about Moston, but also they would like to improve it through different ways. So we're hoping that it kind of lights a spark within the community, and that a few different people see the other support that we have, be it like the community coalition or funding in the local area. And I guess starting a bit more of a conversation about community in Moston and build their own groups internally too.
Great, Dave.
And just to add, we've done some other work on the connection to nature and growing, and how that might lead to other spillover behaviours. And we found that meat reduction and diet changes can be one of those. So we're building a bit of a kind of network of organisations doing that across Manchester and beyond. So hopefully we can loop up this project and bring those kind of learnings into it.
Thank you. Quickly, I guess, because we're running out of time at this end, but what if anything, what are the main things you know now or you're doing differently as a result of this project that you didn't know or weren't doing before?
Yeah, good question. I think as an organisation, we've got some really valuable learnings from this in terms of the 7 British segments on kind of attitudes and behaviours to climate change. So that's given us some really practical application of sort of how to apply those, how to be sense checking, kind of, we always do audience insights, but really seeing where that might align with what we know are kind of motivators or key messages around climate change. So that's definitely something we'll take forward to our other work. And the narrative workshop that we ran was just a really practical, useful exercise as a focus group to kind of almost put out some existing, like some messaging concepts and ideas, and just very practically getting people to highlight what they do and don't like, and as a conversation starter to talk about is definitely something we'd love to do as well. So yeah, I think that for Hubbub as an organisation, and then specifically on sustainable diets, I think it's given us some really good food for thought on those hooks that do resonate, and particularly among this audience that might more traditionally eat meat or have a sort of distrust of elites, or think about how they might kind of view the world, and knowing some of these hooks around nature, family, home cooking, food waste as being a really good place to start. So yeah, really curious to kind of dig into that more, and think about the challenges people have talking about meat reduction as well.
Should I ask the yeah, okay, great. So are there any lessons that you'd share for other organizations in your position, specifically reflecting on if organizations want to create change, or at least help catalyze change within the communities and spread this to others? Where should they start?
Yeah, great question. I think starting with like really kind of authentic listening for communities and kind of meeting them where they're at, not underestimating how long that can take as well to kind of build trust and rapport, and really place importance on of kind of gaining that insight. Is essential to any community thing. Something we did for this, but we think we've got even more time in future. Hubbub wide, we're actually going to be publishing 5 principles of doing this, of how we work with and engage communities early next year. So that will build on this project and a lot of other community projects that we've done. I think in terms of meat reduction and talking about diets, just recognizing it's a really difficult topic to crack. And something that people feel very personally about. It can be very linked to people's identities. So thinking about other hooks and things that might resonate with people. We know from this project some, but we've also often talked about the other kind of co-benefits of, does that help to save people money? Do they start to feel better in terms of their health, or can it be something that's more social? So not always having to lead with an environmental message, but you can still get the same output in terms of a change of people's behaviour. And I think linked to that, really positive communications, something that we do in all our projects, but found with this that the kind of even the name or the type of positive messaging seem to really resonate with the group, and can kind of avoid it becoming quite a divisive thing. I don't know if you'd add anything to that, Lizzie.
Brilliant stuff. Thank you so much for this chat. Thank you for being such wonderful partners. And you can read more about what we did either up there or down there somewhere. Not sure how it's going to be laid out. How can people find Hubbub, find out what you're up to? I suppose the quick answer is go to Google, but anything else they should check out?
Hubbub.org.uk. I hope they've got that right. And then just follow us on our social channels. Yeah, we have a fortnightly newsletter, or frequent newsletter, with all our projects and insights and learnings. So great to follow that. Thank you so much for working with us on this project. We've learned a lot.
And thanks to you too.
Thanks everyone.